let's say I knew nothing about the Netanyahu deepfake, he's dead theory or whatever. And somebody came to me and said, hey, Max, Netanyahu's dead. He hasn't been in public. He has 6 fingers in his videos, blah, blah, blah. Would I believe it? No. My brain would immediately look for reasons to not believe it, because how could he be dead and all the media outlets, every nation would pretend that that he was alive, right? I just can't see a conspiracy on that level ever happening. So I'd push it away. And so in doing these videos, I recognize that's going to be a problem for you because it would be a problem for me. So just please understand that. Please try not to think that, okay, he's wrong. Netanyahu's alive. Just try not to think about any of that stuff. Just try and, go with the flow. Or just consider I'm totally crazy. But do I believe that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, is alive? Yes. But do I believe the videos of Netanyahu that Israel has released since around March 8th prove he's alive? No. They don't prove he's alive to me because I believe Israel is capable of producing very complex deep fakes that can pass any test. Their software engineers are that good. But again, I believe he's alive. So I'm not arguing that because they can do it, they are doing it. So what would proof be to me that he's alive and out and about? And by the way, every morning I expect to get to my computer and feel the humiliation and shame of watching him, talking to, some famous public figure, whatever. So anyway, what it would be to me is an interaction with him in a room with someone whose reputation would be ruined if they claimed they were physically with him when they were not. So that someone would also have to be someone who's arguably not someone who would lie for Israel or wouldn't care about what's going on. So for instance, there are many videos of him in the past month where he's with other people. But they're not people like anybody could reach out to and say, hey, were you really there? And so, yes, that person cannot be Mike Huckabee, which he did a video with. Remember, this is a thought experiment. It applies to the future, if not today. Whatever the reality of Netanyahu's condition, I believe a nation will use AI in the future to delay the publication of someone's death for whatever reason. And nations have slow-rolled or slow-communicated people's death, right? So we're just going to go through some stuff. I'm just thinking out loud, to see, could we figure it out? How would we figure it out? And I think this is just an interesting case study to begin with. Okay, we're going to start with a chroma key anomaly. And I don't know what it means yet, but I think it means something, or it might mean something. So this image is from a press conference or statements of basically June of last year. And you see around his hair, there are no, and I wonder if I can zoom in on here. Yeah, I can, good. So you see around, there's no stray hair. That's because when you're chroma keying, he's talking in front of a green background, and the camera is basically taking the green and it's replacing it with this image, right? And so that's why you're seeing it. However, it is a little bit blurry, so you have to wonder if maybe that this is an actual real physical background. But the reason I don't think it's a physical background is just the letters look too straight. But generally, if you would want to do this correctly, you would, so like in this one, this is a later one. You see how this is very crisp? You wouldn't want to do this because it's sort of distracting, right? You're looking back and forth between him. So anyway, let's just assume that this is chroma keyed because it makes sense because we can't see any of his hair in the background. But if we look at this one, I'm just going to zoom up a bit. We can see, and I'm virtually certain it's chroma key because this is, again, completely in focus, right? And he's in focus. So again, I think that's bad presentation-wise. But you see all these hairs. The reason you generally won't see that in chroma key is because, especially in something low resolution like this, it can't pick off this pixel because there aren't enough pixels to cover it. So it's just the way mosaic sensors work. It's hard to explain, but I think if you ask any video expert, they will say, yeah, the hair is the most difficult thing to mat out when you're doing chroma keying. So generally what you do is you set it, you basically say, well, anything that's sort of close, just make it the background. So normally this would be made blue, this would be made blue. You just generally wouldn't see these hairs. So this is an unresolved mystery to me that might mean something, just don't know. And here's another one, and then this one was done in April 13th, so like yesterday. And it's the same thing. How is there... It doesn't make a sense. And look how low resolution this is. It doesn't make sense that you would see a hair like this on a dark black background. So when I played the video, his head would move around and this hair would stay the same color whether it was in front of this or this. It's just weird. That actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, well, no, it doesn't. I mean, this is green to the hair. It doesn't make a difference whether it's this color or that color. So no, that's not right. But it's still weird to me that we can see this. And again, why is the resolution so low? And it's the same thing here. You can see the hair right here. So I know that they're chroma keying here, but if it's such low resolution, how are they getting it? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that this is not a tell of AI. It is a tell of just how much they reduce the resolution of their videos, which I don't know why. Though I have seen it in the past, so to me this isn't a smoking gun. But the resolution here, they purposely butchered it. I mean, this is like from your cell phone in 2012. I mean, this is like 13 years old, and again, Israel is a very advanced country. So what's going on here? I mean, I don't really know. But again, I should point out that, yeah, low resolution would be a sign of using AI, because AI, you get more and more artifacts as the resolution goes up. And the less resolution you have, the less you see these artifacts. And if they were doing AI, generally they would do it in low resolution, or even if they did in higher resolution, they'd want to reduce the resolution to cover up any artifacts you'd be able to figure out. So like this thing here, it's just sort of a weird thing. Like, why is that there? Is it possible that they're creating a model, a virtual reality model in a sense, with the hair like this, and then they're compositing on this background? That's sort of, I guess, what I'm wondering. Is this basically an animation with the hair that's just put on top of this graphically? So I don't know. Now here's another thing that I noticed from this video. You see how very bright his hand is overexposed, but the podium is the same brightness across. So it feels to me like this should be brighter because he has this light on him compared to this, which doesn't have the light. But I just watched a video today of one of the spokespeople, and I could see that that she also showed brightness on her hand, and the podium looked the same. So again, I thought I had something here, but I don't have something here. Let's go look at that video.
To make sure that there is some type of agreement.
Okay. You see, like she puts her thumb up here, and you can see the light is hitting her thumb and making her much brighter. So I feel, okay, there is a harsh light here, and so you can see it more clearer here. There's a harsh light. It's coming from here. It's hitting her. It's not affecting the podium. So, and I know this has got to be real, right? Though again, this sort of begs the question, why does he have a spokesperson here, right? Why don't we see him? Well, we do see him in front of this podium. It doesn't look as natural as she looks. Now, the videos that I'm sort of analyzing have a few different places that he'll do these videos, because I want to look at places where I know he's for certain alive, or he's, moving around, and ones where he might not be. So the first one is this office thing, and he has this picture like this. And this was taken, a couple days ago. Again, this could be AI. Now this is one where he's in front of this curtain. So I think he's in a different office. I don't know where, but this is a different secondary office. But there are less videos of that. The primary place he likes to do his videos in his office is here. Then there's another video where he's in front of a map, which, by the way, I believe is in the same office as this, just in a different place. And so this is, yeah, he does some videos in front of this map. This is a video where he'll, do something outside, so many like this. And then this is his main podium spot. Now, this video is very interesting. We're going to go into this a little bit later, but he does like statement videos. He does those there. This is a secondary podium. I don't know where this is, but let's just assume he's traveling and he's doing it somewhere else, different microphone, different podium. This would indicate that, yeah, he's totally alive, he's fine, but he's moving around. He can't always shuttle back to this place, so sometimes he has to deliver a message from here. But here's, again, you just when you see something that you're like, oh, well, he's definitely around. Even in Israel, within Israel, Gadi Zini, a military commentator, keeps asking, why isn't he around? Why isn't he at Knesset meetings or government meetings or even home, right? So security officials are saying, oh, it's because he's being targeted. But he's like, this is ridiculous. We haven't seen him in a long time. So even Israelis, right, are starting to question this. What is going on? Like there's something fishy going on here. Of course, they don't believe he's dead or incapacitated. They just don't understand why they're not seeing him. So this isn't just me saying I don't see him, with other people. I mean, Israelis are saying they don't see him amongst themselves. Okay. So when this video came out, I was really, really confused because even when it started, he had two lapel mics. Now, basically, when you put two lapel mics on, you generally put them just onto one side or the other. So right there, I thought, that's really weird that he's putting on two lapel mics. So why is he doing that? And why are they doing that? And then he moves to the side of the podium. Why? So I know this is going to sound completely crazy town, but I feel like the people making AI, when I saw this video the first time, I was like, okay, the Israeli AI creators know there are people like me looking at these videos and they want to flex. They want to say, hey, look, we can take a guy from behind a podium and we can move him there and we can move him back. So you're never going to catch us. That's how sophisticated our technology is. Because there's no reason he would do this. He's never done this before that I can find in any of his past videos. So why would he do this? It makes no sense whatsoever. But again, you would sound like a crazy person. Like, well, I think if I said, oh, like Netanyahu is going a little bit crazy, he's he's has some sort of brain rot or whatever, and he went to the press room or whatever. He said, give me two lavalier mics because I'm going to go back and forth. Well, he would never do that. He would just say, hey, listen, I'm going to go back and forth. And then the technical guy would say, well, we have to put some lav mics on you, right? And then you say, okay. And then I'm going to go, but why would he go back and forth? I mean, unless, to me, they have to be addressing the people who believe he's AI. Because even they've done other videos where they say, I'm not AI. But actually, at this point, March 31st, it's really died down. So the whole AI thing, where people questioning it was, probably to the 10th to the 18th or something. But at this point, like, nobody's questioning it anymore. So why? Again, this video is just so bizarre to me. It is still completely bizarre to me. But then, on the 11th, 11 days later, it started to make sense. So now he has only one lapel mic, which makes sense, right? So whatever, he has one lapel mic. I need to check with this other one, see if that shirt looks exact. Anyway, he has a one lapel mic. And now when he goes over to the other side, it's to show, point to a map. So now the other video makes sense. So to me, and again, it's just going to sound like complete crazy town, but we're just having fun here. So to me, the other videos, they were like, okay, we're going to need to have him walk out from the podium. Again, this is AI. Have our AI Netanyahu walk out from the podium and look at a map. but we don't know whether it's going to work, whether people will believe it. Maybe they'll catch things when he's walking. So let's first just start with that. Let's do a test with their AI where he walks from the podium out and back. They do that test after 10, 11 days, doing a little quality checking, seeing if anybody's figured it out. They're like, okay, we're good. Now we can do an AI video where he's going to walk out and talk about a background, because then this also will raise many potential artifacts to prove that he's AI. Again, if this is AI. So I think that this video can only be understood in terms of this video, right? So I just want to check while we're here. So this is, so his lapel mic is basically right there as a speck of dust. And let's just see if that's, so again, just look at this stuff over and over again. No, there shouldn't be a speck of dust there because, no, see, it's definitely lower. Because that would be a giveaway. Again, I'm assuming, even if this is AI, they're not going to be caught out easily. In fact, that's something I keep on forgetting to mention, is that I don't believe I or anybody will find out it's AI by looking at a video and finding an artifact or something in the video itself. It will be a comparison. So like even here, I can't argue from here. I can make up some stuff to say, yeah, this is AI. But I think the strongest argument isn't this video in particular. It's this video and that other video where it's this thing. The argument for AI is this thing where he walks out to the side of the podium for no reason so freaking ever and talks and then walks back to the podium. That's the oddity that needs to be explained that I just don't understand. So, testing AI could be one of those things. This was another video that just came out yesterday that I was working on. And so basically, the two versions, there's a cell phone version, and then there's a regular, like, professional camera version. Now, he's done a few videos like these. Now, what's interesting, again, there's no smoking guns here, but they're interesting questions. He has this flak jacket on, there are no cartridges or anything, sort of weird. And this is supposedly in Lebanon. And see this guy, he has no body armor under him. I don't think any of these guys have body armor. So it's weird that he would go to an active war zone, puts on his flak jacket, but nobody else has it. So things like this just start to, just sort of surprise me. Then there's this guy who's like looking at the camera. He's looking at the front camera, but on the cell camera, you can see he's looking a little bit away. And I moved this, over so we can see it from a different direction, so we can see different parts of the frame. So let me just move this over. So now I'm going to move him over here. Now, what's interesting is here they've blurred out what we now know are these antennas and this pole. So I imagine with this, you probably could geolocate this. So the question is, if they're going to blur out the location here, why don't they blur out the location here too? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just bizarre. If the Israelis are so on top of their operational security, why would they do it one place here and not here? What are they telling us here? What's like going on? There's just something very bizarre about this. And again, I don't have an answer, but it just doesn't make sense. So many other people believe that these videos, there are a couple of theories. One, that this video was actually shot a while ago, and then they just did some facial changes to change what he's saying. And that's actually pretty trivial now with AI. So basically, this was a video where he's talking about, I'm here with a bunch of new recruits, and they're going to help us and blah, blah, blah. That's why they don't have any, body armor or stuff like that. And they all look very casual so here even you can see like he goes over, like the way he lifts up his hand, like it's like this. When I thought when he lifted up his hand here, when I saw it here, it's like, why doesn't this guy look down? Wouldn't he flinch a little bit or look down? But here I can see, oh, it's so close to his chest, he probably doesn't see it. So again, this is a case where I thought I had something here, but I didn't. Same thing with the heads in the background. I thought the heads were not in the right place, but as I thought about it, it's like, yeah, on this video, you can see an angle here. On this, you couldn't. So you'd see a person first here, actually. Look, if he's this direction and not here. So anyway, that was the thing I was going through too for a while. But again, it was a false indication. See how he shakes this guy's hand, right? And he shakes this guy's hand. And he's just about to take off his hand. So I'm just wondering, like, it's just like, yeah, he could just be like, oh, I'm here to meet some new recruits or whatever. It's something does not feel right. But again, no smoking guns here. And again, I don't think you're going to catch the Israeli, if they are doing AI, you're not going to catch them out here. And again, here I think if it is AI, I think the reason they didn't blur this out is, again, they're taunting us, or they're not taunting, but they're adding things that are sort of mistakes so you don't find the big mistake. Do you know what I'm saying? So you see this, you're like, oh, look, they don't really care that much. So if they don't care that much, they wouldn't really care enough to do AI. You sort of get what I'm saying? So like, yeah, we have some mistakes in here, there, but they're mistakes that people will think, well, if we're making those, we're not like some, amazing superpower doing these AI deepfake videos. Because if they are doing deepfake videos, this is a serious project with dozens, maybe hundreds of engineers working on it. This would not be a trivial thing, because so much is at stake, as I explained in my essay. And here you can see this is probably a helicopter here that's blurred out. So that's sort of like an interesting thing. But that would make sense. A helicopter, let's just say this is real, right? And he's there. I think it would make sense that a helicopter would be farther away, guarding where he's at. It would make sense that it would be there. So, if it was a training thing, I don't know. So again, I'm just taking you through like how I'm looking at these and trying to figure it out. If there's anything that just doesn't make sense. Like, okay, here's another thing. Like his hands. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't get that right. Did I not get that right? Oh, there it is. See, his two fingers and these fingers usually separate, which they did there. So it's just details like that, which again means it's real. Or if it's AI, I mean, they've just got this stuff down. Something serious. Something super, super serious. So in this one's old and this one's new. So this one would be AI on the right and this one wouldn't. And one of the things I was looking into was the armrest of his chair has this bright light. And I think it's coming from two places. One is the light, the bookshelf light, and two may be a light behind him. So I don't know about this. Like sometimes I think I have some evidence and sometimes I don't. So you can see the light, the book light is on. You can see it's reflecting on his desk here, right? That makes sense. Again, this would be the AI video if it was AI. But looking at this, it doesn't look like, they both look real, right? I can't see any difference between them as far as that goes. But so now here, if you look here, you see how his armrest is bright. And I think it's bright because, again, it's these book lights behind him. But I'm going to open, I think, a different video to show you where it doesn't quite. So here, right? So here you see there's a bright light, but it must be coming from behind him somehow, somewhere. This is the other thing I wonder, like, have they been trying to do AI videos for longer, like even like half a year ago? I mean, boy, if I sound even crazy, can I sound even crazier in this video? Again, just a question. But well, here we can see, like, there's a shadow here, right? Which would make sense because he's blocking it. but because of the book lights, we're seeing it all the way to the front of the thing. But anyway, the light on the armrests is something I've been looking into. All right, so this one is from September of 2025, so we know this is real. So it's sort of like curious, like you can see how this shadow grows here. So I guess, because here we have, okay, they're fully lit, both from the bookshelf light coming down and probably from a side light here, I believe. Or maybe they have some, yeah, there's some sort of light coming. Well, no, because there's light here coming too. So when he where is that part where he, yeah, right. So he picks up his hands. And you can just see, just look at this spot right here. See, he gets a shadow. He's moving his hands. But I never see that. I never see the light changing on here on something that's new. So let me just pick up one of his latest little Spain is one. Let's do the Lebanon one. So here's a Lebanon one. In other words, it's April 9th. This is pretty recent. So look at this. Look at this part here. He has the bookshelf lights on, right? We assume he has another light. But this is what's really weird here. The bookshelf lights are on. I'll show you what's strange here. The bookshelf light is on. So I think that would make for that image, that brightness. But it doesn't, because why is it a shadow here? Is that coming from here? I mean, in other words, if you looked at the other one, this doesn't, you can't even tell the bookshelf light is on. So why is this like the same brightness as a one where the exposure, whereas you could see this, the exposure, in other words, there's a brightness mismatch from how bright we see the shelf lights and actually what's on his chair. It doesn't match up to me. Even look here, like look how bright that is. So that's obviously, right, a side light. So we can say, okay, that's a side light from coming here. But if that's a side light from coming here, let's see, let me keep going. Where's this? Why is this? See how he's moving his hand. So it's a light coming from the left here, right? And hitting this chair. And that explains that. But it doesn't explain why this is so bright. I mean, it wouldn't be coming from here, right? Because his body is blocking it. And I don't see it coming from here because his face is shadowy here. And you see his arm is dark. Like everything is dark, so I don't see how this would be coming from here. We can see the reflection on the table, but again, it doesn't match the brightness of this. Let me actually go back to that so you can see what I'm talking about. Where is it? It's the test compares. Yeah, let me compare it to Spain. Is it Spain? No, here's the true. Where's the one from last year? 25, I think it's this one. No, it's just, yeah. No, wrong one, sorry. Right, okay, so this is from September 2025. You see how bright it looks here? You can definitely tell the bookcase lights are on. But if we go to the armrests, the armrests aren't even as bright as they were in the other one where this was very dim. So to me, there's a mismatch. So again, I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm not saying that this proves anything. I'm just saying it's interesting. So So this is a video from March of last year. And essentially, on those other videos, they've moved stuff around. So this basically is already on the left. They've taken this sort of blonde table away in this, and they put like a desk across it. So he's sitting to the right of where he normally sits. He normally would sit over here, over on the right there. But look at this video, right? You can tell it's, I don't think this cannot be AI. There are a lot of tools it couldn't use. By the way, you see how his fingers are, oops, sorry. See how his fingers are always like this? So they got the hands down. Again, I'm assuming it's AI. But this is a video I haven't seen in the past 6 weeks. A video like this where it's high resolution. He's in his office. It just looks very, looks real. Because a lot of the stuff with the phone to the mouth would be faked. But let me actually show you another video that I find very, very fascinating. And I don't quite understand it. Or I guess I do understand it. But I don't, it's an interesting one. So this one was done in August of 2025. And again, it's almost like I feel like they're trying out AI even back then, because faking moving hands behind a picture in a glass in these books, it's just weird. Like, why would you leave the picture on the table and this glass right in front of you? It's very staged. I mean, wouldn't you say, hey, this looks silly to have this? But you see, like this, doing this with AI, that is very, very difficult. But again, if this video was released yesterday, I said, oh yeah, man, they are definitely punking us by showing us how advanced they are that they can do this. But if you look at it just from forget AI, just like, why does he have the glass picture on his desk like that? It's just weird, right? And then he has a bunch of books. So even back, in August, yeah, I mean, anyway, just interesting. But again, this would show me that, though, again, I guess you could say, like, okay, well, they did a weirdo video back in August, but why aren't they doing weirdo videos like this now? Why are all the videos very... the other thing that's interesting to me is, so this is a year ago, right, that this picture frame is like that, but it actually has moved around a bit. So if we look at, where is it? Yeah, so let's look at this. This is from 9/21. This is September of last year. And then we look at it, September of last year. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost here. September of last year. And this was, this was the day before. No, it's still like that. No, it's like that on 12/24. Okay, so that's when it changes. So it's that way, and then it changes, and then it's been the same way since then. Just like that. Still bizarre. Like this is, you're seeing, like this is 12/25, 12/24. So in this one, like the lights are off in the shelves. We see some reflection here, but that's because it's much higher resolution and better color. This looks more natural than the current videos, right? Which would be, we got another recent one. So like this one, right? So this one, lights are off. It looks so much like the other one. Yeah, again, this is a recent video and it looks real to me. All right, well, I hope you found that interesting. Again, there's no telltale sign to me that it's AI, so I have to still believe he's dead. However, I still believe they could pull it off with the videos that we've looked at, and that there are some weird things about it, but they're only weird if you look at videos compared to each other. But the more you do that, at least the more I do it, the more I'm like, Max, you're freaking insane. But again, the Israelis themselves are wondering why they haven't seen him in the past month. And yeah, until we get that conclusion, I think I'll continue to look at these videos, because even if he comes out tomorrow, right? We see him tomorrow, he's with somebody, we know for sure that he's with somebody. It doesn't mean that any of these videos weren't AI, that he wasn't sick in bed and they made some AI videos. It doesn't mean they won't use AI videos in the future, or they haven't used them in the past. And I think that's the big thing to me. Like, doesn't any of the major media talk about that? Like, I sent this to Mehdi Hassan, I sent to Max Blumenthal, sent it to, I don't think I've sent to anybody else. It was somebody else, but I forget. But anyway, whatever. Why aren't they at least doing the story like, hey, AI is big. We all recognize deepfake is getting more and more powerful. Why aren't we looking at, like, well, how would we find out if somebody was doing this or not? I mean, isn't that an interesting question? It is to me. Anyway, I'll do more videos like that, but I just want to get all this stuff done, and thanks for watching.